Hello and welcome everyone to the eighth episode of Discord in the Ranks. I am one of your hosts, Commi, and with me is the King.
Say it back at it again. Only 18. Only 18. Yeah. What are we
Oh,
talking about today?
we're gonna be talking about recent events, doing some catch up, just some nice unstructured chit chat. But I do know that you had recently, a month ago, had participated in a very special event.
I went to the Scouring of Cheshire. Big event in Greater Manchester at Element Games. Always a good laugh. Been going since 2021. So like COVID freed us all up. I had an army through COVID because the missus decided like, hey, you play this Warhammer game, but you talk a lot about Lord of the Rings and you don't play the Lord of the Rings game. For Christmas, I'm going to get you a bunch of Lord of the Rings stuff. And so the addiction commenced. But yeah, came to 2021. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go scouring. And ever since then, I was like, I've got to get a ticket and go back every year, which I have done so far. And every time it's been fantastic. This year, no different. New host in Darren instead of Steve. But yeah, no, it all ran smoothly. The raffle was still a lot of fun. They introduced a couple of new awards, which I won one of them. I was the most mid player at the event. Bang average, 3 wins, 3 losses, the most mid points difference. Excellent. Excellent. What more can you dream for? Instead of aiming for the wooden spoon, you're just going, yeah, well, I'm mid.
I mean, hey, you're ahead of the well, I guess you are the curve. You are the
Yeah, yeah.
curve that all bend around.
Yeah, I am the Kevin I've been around. So you've got to filter through me to get good.
Yeah.
I am the
That's
middling
awesome.
man. But yeah, no. It was a very good event. 6 rounds, 800 points, 2 hour timer, lots of beer, lots of chin wagon. It's not very serious. That's why I don't like calling it a tournament. It's an event. But some people do take it seriously, and they have all the power to, and they can go and get those W's if they want to. And it doesn't really bother everyone because we're all kind and nice over here. You
Um,
recently went to an event, didn't you? Was it this past weekend?
yeah, it was the annual Maine tournament, Defense of the
Mm.
North, uh,
Mm.
which was precursed by a Friday evening of the Battle of Helm's Deep. I had
Oh.
Yeah, this was our like new player recruitment scenario for this year. Because last year we did the I did Ballin's Tomb, but this
Hmm.
year we're like, all right, let's just do this thing. And I worked with a local store to build a huge Helm's Deep diorama using some prints that are made by a local community member,
Mm.
to I think the GBHL page
Yeah.
and the store helped print it out, and then we used spray foam, like wall insulation foam to like do the rocky outcroppings, and an awesome scenario. And
Awesome.
then the event immediately after was the 2-day tournament. We had folks from all over New England come to participate. In years
Damn.
past, we've had folks come from Kentucky, so our influence is nice and beyond the New England.
Yeah,
And
that, that
also,
that's some traveling that.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. The prize pool. What I did was I made a table of like Lord of the Rings merchandise, posters. You know those goblets from Burger King?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I got some of those goblets on there. A local store sponsored some sets. So like the Stronghold of Rohan
Mm.
was that was like the crown jewel of the prize table. But everyone got to go home with a prize. The rocks like last year, but I also added some Baron of dice as gifts and stuff like that, so that everyone who's coming and paying for the convention pass and had to, pay for hotels, getting some sort of like an equitable, fun, experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. Fair man, fair. No, that sounds awesome. Especially the Helm's Deep. Like, oh, I'd really want to do that someday. Helm's Deep. I also really want to do Pelennor as well. Just get all of my models out, and do last edition's Pelennor. When it's just like, right, we're here all weekend, lads.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can actually get to a point where this ends with models still on the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long scenario because like
Mm.
Aragorn has to run if he didn't have free heroic march, he'd be running for like 9 turns, but because he gets to do it in 5, which is still a crazy number of turns that you're just like, yeah, that's that's Aragorn's journey. Is that he's
Yeah.
running for probably like 3 hours of the event.
It's just, all right, you still move along, right? Okay, let's get to our combats, and you just go down the entire line of Rohan charge, then down the entire line of the fighterms charging into some Easterlings or something, and then the Gondor warriors. It's like, right, okay, all the fights have been done. That was like 300 combats. Great, turn two.
All right, let me just move Aragorn 9 more inches.
Aragorn is gonna march with all of his ghosts. No.
You just
Yeah,
stick him
nah,
on the
no.
movement tray.
That'd be sick. At Scouring, actually, funnily enough, at it weren't used as one of the maps, but one of the tables that they had over in like on the side wall of the room in Element, was Helm's Deep. I don't think from memory it hadn't been painted yet, but it was all set up ready to start being used for a narrative event. I believe they were going to do.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, I was just like, that looks absolutely sick. And yeah, no, it was looking really, really cool. That's what I like about Skyrim. A lot of the boards are quite thematic, and if they start introducing ones where it's like, yep, I know this is completely unbalanced, but your board is Helm's Deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Roll for deployment.
We we have we have some like really thematic boards just like in our community because we have some
Yeah,
that are like, kind of tournament in mind. Um, but there's a couple boards that I think usually get brought to Nova.
yeah,
There's like it's the Tower of Orthanc with like the pit around it.
mm,
Um, like the Shire, but with like the river, and like one
yeah.
side of the board just is the Green Dragon Tavern, and then the other side of the river is like Bag End and some Hobbit Hills, right? Um, very unbalanced for any sort of experience where you have like Thorn's company holding the Green Dragon Tavern, which is fully interactable and enterable, against any army.
Just have Dwalin at the door. Come on then. I'm
There was
defending a
actually
doorway. Get past me.
There was a game day that I attended. It was like one of the first times I actually played like in the greater Middle Earth community. But
Oh,
there was a game day that the Hobbit board was there, and I was playing as Airborne Reclaimed with King Dane and Prince Thorin.
yeah,
And I had like Gloin as well, and then a bunch of Iron Host dwarves. And I played on that board against like an orc player. Um, just like a bunch of Morannons and or not a bunch of orcs. Like I don't even think they were using Morannon rules. They were just like orcs,
yeah,
led by Gothmog and stuff. And we like deployed so that we were the river was splitting the board in half like perpendicular, so
yeah.
it didn't separate us. It was just alongside, and I had set up my dwarves to be within range of the Green Dragon Tavern, and we kind of like entered it at the same time, but when our armies met in the middle, I was just like point for point, like point per millimeter, just like way more dense than he was. And
Mm,
so I had like all three of my dwarf heroes just like devouring endless amounts of orcs as they just walked through, 2 by 2 into
yeah.
a trio of dwarves. Um, which was a crazy experience. I could not imagine playing against like White Council or something on that table.
Yeah,
But it's crazy fun to play on, and that's the most important thing is that even if the White Council gets in there, it's you're in for an experience.
yeah, yeah, for sure, Chief. No, that sounds like fantastic. Um, yeah, no, what I did want to do, I did want to go through each game that I had at Scouring.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yes please.
so despite it being 3 wins, 3 losses, we started off very well with a win. So first game comes up, it's destroy supplies, and I'm like, oh, who have I got? I see James at first, and I was like, "That's my mate," because I went down with a good friend of mine called James, and I was like, "That's my mate." And then I saw it was BD, not BF for Fornos. It was Barrador. I was like, oh wait, no, it's not my James. It's a different James. Get to the table, meet one of the most lovely guys I've ever met. And yeah, we played. It was Destroy the Supplies. He had Sauron and a troll. No, he had 2 trolls. Sauron, 2 trolls, and a bunch of orcs. He was
Holy
like,
cow!
"Hey, I know I'm not here to win. However, Sauron and trolls." And I was like, "Yeah, damn." I'm right. I'm going to have to just try and hopefully hold them up and go destroy a supply, which is exactly what I did. So game starts. We start moving towards each other. I'm really thirsty for first blood, so I actually have my 4 bows stand still and shoot at an orc, and we managed to kill that orc. I was like, "Woo, first blood!"
Ooh.
But when it got to the actual scrapping, like he put like a few of his dudes to the left, where I had like 2 entire war bands to the left. My Moran and Captain. I did say I took Minas Morgul. It was a list. It was the Witch King. I had a troll. I had a Spectre, 2 regular Mordor captains, 1 Morannon captain with a 2-hander because I'm built like that. We don't want no shield. I'm just gonna 2-hand and cleave through you. Never bother. But yeah, bunch of Morans, bunch of orcs. I had 2 war bands. It was the 2 Mordor orc war bands on the far left. And then I had my Witch King with my troll and my Morannons with Mordor orc spears back line in the middle, and then I put the Morannon captain over to the right. Yeah, we just walked towards the middle. I got that first blood, and then basically it was the Witch King and the troll tried to hold off Sauron on a troll, which we kind of did. Like the Witch King didn't die. The troll got a couple wounds on him. Sauron tried to do a couple of magic things, but he should have committed in the middle to kill me. But he wants to go do some magic things, and I was like, "Sweet, yeah, do your magic, boo." And he was like trying to transfix my banner, trying to chill soul my banner and stuff like that. Got into an orc, barged or hurled or killed something. Meanwhile, my Spectre kept asking his troll on the right to do intelligence tests, which he kept failing. But because the troll was behind his own dudes, he'd just like walk a bit. He wouldn't walk anywhere. He'd just stop at his own dudes, and then be stuck there, not able to do anything. Yeah, it was just a matter of 2 warbands on the left. They ate all of his dudes there. Ran towards the supply, destroyed one. That was over the entire course of turn. We were busy talking a lot, so I actually did run to time from memory. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, I didn't break, and I didn't do that many wounds to Sauron at all. So yeah, I think my VPs were having the banner, destroying a supply and destroying more supplies than him, and we ran to time. But yeah, no, lovely guy, great laugh. Started off day 1 with a win, which I was quite happy with.
Heck yeah! I mean, like gotta feel good. Start off strong. Get
Aye,
that first blood, first win. I mean, you're on a
yeah,
roll already.
yeah. It's like right, okay, I've got a first win. Surely go on to good things. Yeah, my goal was to match what I did last year. So in Scouring 2024, that was 3 wins, 3 losses. So this year I was like, I want 3 wins, 3 losses again. It'll be nice to at least keep that consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Gets my second game, and I play a guy from a group in England called Drone Combat.
Oh,
They write
nice.
some blogs. They post their blogs to GBHL. They're quite interesting. I've read a couple of them after playing Dan from Drone Combat. He also gave me some dice, and they're very, very pretty dice. And he told me they're really good for evil because they always roll low. And I don't think I've seen 6s more often ever in my life when I roll these dice. So he lied.
The unicorn of drawn combat.
Yeah, drone combat dice. Aye, but yeah, no. So second game it was domination, and Dan had Fangorn free
Mm-hmm.
named. It was free named and 3 normal ends off the top of my head. Yeah, free named and 3 normal ents, and then each ent was one of each different type. So one was ash, one was beech, and one was oak.
Oh,
And
cool.
they were very, very pretty, very, very pretty ents. with it being domination, I was kind of like, right, okay, how on earth do I actually even try to win this? Because all he's got to do is punch through my dudes and then sit on 3 objectives instead of 2. So I was like, right. He did say at the start, he was very, very, very nice, good sport about it. He just did say at the start, he's like, I do plan on standing back a bit and throwing my rubber rocks at you. He called them rubber rocks because they'd always hit, but they'd never wound.
Seems
I was like, right, okay. So you plan on doing that, no worries. So I deployed a lot of my dudes forward. And my plan, as soon as the game started, was run at him, die, breaking quarter in the same turn, win. I was like, that's the plan. That's what we're going to go with. I just run at him, and he keeps rolling his 6s to win the duels, and he just keeps killing my orcs. I guess if he wanted to slow it down, he could have barged or hurled just to kill 1 or 2 orcs. But no, I was throwing in 4 orcs at a time. I was very, very, very lucky with quite a few of my courage checks, which kept me getting in and at him, which was nice. But yeah, no, I broke. Didn't quarter in the same turn, and in that turn, he managed to have enough dudes who had combated, like Treebeard had combated and Beachbone had combated, and they managed to get into a place where they could start taking objectives.
Mm-hmm.
So they contested 1, with dominant 3, right, or 4.
I think the trees. Oh, actually, I don't remember. Keep going, and
Yeah,
I'll.
yeah. So we pushed through. It didn't kill the Witch King, thankfully. Witch King escaped with his life. But yeah, I broke, and I had like 2 dudes on each of the back objectives, because I was just 2 dudes at the back. If one runs away, the other one sticks around and scores the objective. But unfortunately, I had one objective where they both ran away, and the other objective they both stayed. I was like, no, I should have went 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, but no, I ended up going 2 on one objective, 2 on the other for the courage checks, and they fled on one objective. So
No.
that made me lose some points there. I was like, all right then, I see how it is. But yeah, so I still managed to score 1 objective, which was 3 VPs. He contested 1, so neither of us scored. But then he got 2 more, got breaking, and he had. Oh, he did contest 1. He had one where he did have more models because of his dominance, so he got 1 VP for that. So it was 10-3, and I was like, oh, okay. He went on to come 5th. So let's just say I helped someone go along to 5th. All right, I might have stopped them from getting 1st because of the VP difference. But yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
that's
no,
what
that
we
was my
fight for
second
our
game.
VPs.
Yeah. That's what it gets down to, the nitty gritty. If you start thinking about it, like, no, I need the VPs. I need the
Yeah.
VPs. I mean, the top 4 were 5 wins, 1 draw. So it did come down to VPs to who won the event, really.
Yeah. Because especially if you're putting your metrics into like tabletop admiral or whatever, that's showing you kind of your progress report and like your win rate, or
Yeah,
if you just use like a spreadsheet, you know,
yeah,
fighting for those VPs, even if it's the last round, and it doesn't matter. Like you can still show improvement
yeah, for sure.
for
It's
yourself,
like,
right?
look, I'm stopping people getting max VPs and maybe earning a couple for me myself as well.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, really, isn't it? Freeze. Dominant 3. Yeah, the dominant 3. Treebeard is
Yeah.
dominant 5.
Right. Because he gets to be a little bit better at holding stuff because
He's got 2
he's
hobbits on his
large.
head. Yeah, no. So yeah, we're on 1 win, 1 loss. I was like, right, okay, that's fine. I'm going back down towards some of the more fun boards because the lower you go, the more scenic the boards are. And then my 3rd game, so my final game of the Saturday, was against Return of the King, and I was miserable. The dice completely abandoned me. So I was against Return of the King, against a lovely guy who was just like, right, okay, yeah, it's finally ghost time to shine. I want ghosts to work, so he's brought ghosts. It's like, right, fair enough. He said he had played Meanest Mogul in the first game and lost, and they were playing it that they were playing the terror rule incorrectly. So in Meanest Mogul, if you're within 3 inches of a spirit, you auto pass terror checks, like just terror
Yeah.
checks. But I think he said the guy who's playing it round one said that it's board wide. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But it could have been easily a misinterpretation or something. But
Yeah.
it depends what the person wanted to get out of that. Regardless, get to game 3, and my dice just completely abandoned me. No matter what I did, no matter what I tried. I also did make quite a good big misplay. I was moving up through a funnel because of the terrain. I was like, right, I'm going to put my troll out to the side just to try and draw in as a King of the Dead. What I did not take into account was Aragorn was also in range.
Oh no.
So Aragorn and the King of the Dead charged that troll like, yeah, come on then, gimme, gimme, gimme. I was like, oops. They eat the troll alive. I'm like, right, okay, I've lost my troll. I've lost the one thing that will be punching through these ghosts good and proper. That
Right.
sucks. But hopefully I can just, maybe I get a bit lucky, maybe scratch it back, kill a few ghosts. But the entire game I was just lose, do, roll, lose, do, roll, lose, do, roll, lose, do, roll,
Oh
lose, do, roll.
god.
I was like, oh, okay. And then tide combat, is it free of Aragorn? Oh, okay, yeah, you win on fight value, sweet, okay, lose, do, roll, lose, do, roll. Oh, I've won the do roll. Do I kill? No. Quite a bit of that. I think I did end up playing 4 ghosts in the end. So, I mean, that was something. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was just one of those games where like dice abandoned me. I made a big misplay that cost me a very, very a unit that would have done a lot for me in the scenario. Scenario's fog of war, by the way. But yeah,
Right.
in the fight, the troll would have been very helpful, but I put it in the wrong place, and it cost me. And I was like, all right, great. The Witch King spells also, all of them did nothing. Anytime I tried to cast anything, it either wouldn't go off or would go off very low, and the fella would roll a 6 to resist. It's like, fair enough. Right, okay. So I was like, I've got nothing here. This is not going so well, but I'm just gonna have to ride it out. I am just gonna have to ride it out. That was day 1 finished. I know a few people went and stayed behind to go to the pub and such. I was talking to my mates who I went with. Like I went to one of my mates who went last year with me. He came. There's a lad in this server. I think his username's Tolkien in the server.
Mhm.
He's went every year. Lovely bloke. Good chin wagon. I remember Nikki who went last year. I remember Nikki Nyland. One of them. He had Dragon Emperor last year and he won the thing. I was like, damn. He's like, oh yeah, we should
Oh,
have a
hell yeah.
Discord group. I was like, well, I'm already in a group, but yeah, if there was a MESBG TTS Discord before, we stopped being MESBG TTS.
Yeah.
Um, that would have been a cool thing to do. But yeah, no, day 1 was a good wrap up. It was a lot of fun, and despite it being 2 losses, 1 win, and the last game was particularly draining, just because it was just like whatever I do, nothing works. I was
Mhm.
kind of like, right, no worries. I can go into tomorrow and at least try to salvage at least 1 more win and go 4-2. Because you're in that negative mindset of, oh, I've lost the last 2 games, I'm just gonna keep losing. But I
Right.
was like, nah, maybe I can go in tomorrow, get a win, lose another 2, I'll be fine, or I'll go on to win them all or whatever. Um, Also on that same day, my football team, Carlisle United, got relegated, and I was never big into football until about 3 years ago when I first moved up here up towards Carlisle. And seeing them get relegated into the National League also broke me. so that was like right after the game. So I just finished that game, a fog of war at round 3. I was like, right, okay, 20-0 loss, bit of a battering, big misplay that cost me. Dice weren't going my way. Fair's fair. Blah blah blah. Looked at my phone. Carlisle United have lost 3-2, I think it was, and the team that we didn't need to win, because if the team above us, if they win once, we're no matter what, we're relegated. If they drew or if they lost, we could have still caught up. They won, we were relegated. I was like, great, that's my Saturday ruined.
Oh.
And so I thought, day 1 for me. Talk day 1 for you.
Oh, sure. I mean, day 1 for me as a TO was, there wasn't any gameplay that I was a part of.
Oh, okay.
But I did play some games in day 2. But for my day one segment, I'll say that we did have a lot of folks who were who like saw the or participated in or watched the pictures on social media of the Battle for Helm's Deep, and they were like, and
Yeah,
then they came and watched some of the tournament games, and so we got a few more players who were interested, and that was that. That's a win. So I'm
yeah,
already 3-0 at this point.
yeah, yeah. It grows the community, doesn't it? It's kind of like, oh, that looked really cool. Oh, what, you're doing a thing where you play a bunch of games back to back? That sounds like fun. I'm gonna go see what that's about. And if anything, it also generates the club a bit of money if the club operates like that. So yeah, no, that's cool. And if you're TOing it, and such, it's like, oh, well, this is a very successful event, isn't it?
Yeah, it felt good, to have them just rolling the dice again. Every year I get so like stressed out, and I'm like, trying to make everything work, and then
Yeah.
it's like they start rolling, and like, all right, I'm good.
No, it's like Africa's blessed. Africa's blessed. Were you walking around the tables much, seeing what's what, or did you just kind of stand at your little TO desk, like I'm available if anyone needs me?
So, funnily enough, because I had stayed up so late the night before, I drank coffee that there was being provided by the hotel in the
Mm,
lobby, and I had like eaten very little in the past 24 hours, so the
yeah.
coffee hit me like a truck. I was vibrating until 3 p.m. It was honestly a little terrifying at times. So I do normally walk around to the tables and like just watch because like that's the fun I get out of it. Then at that point is just like watch all these different games at once progress.
Yeah.
But then like I was like I was just walking by vibrating and being like I can't focus on anything, and that was a bit wild.
Note self, if I ever visit you or you ever visit me, don't give you coffee.
Oh yeah, I mean at least let me have some food first, or else yeah
You'll be
I start
wired.
to phase through walls. Yeah.
That's a and here comes Commi. Woo! Right, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, day one as TO, uneventful. Everything went smoothly. What's more to like? What's more to want, even other than
hmm
um, no rules questions. Everything just goes absolutely smooth. Play your own
Yeah, yeah,
casual game on the side.
yeah. Actually, so funnily enough, when I didn't feel brave enough to do it round one, but once
Yeah,
round two hit, um, there I had a friend of mine in like the local wargaming, or gaming community. Um, he I've been helping him because he's the head of like the HeroScape community in New England.
yeah,
And HeroScape is a great game. Just like give a Google to HeroScape, one word, and just like get absolutely floored by what you see. It's like the weirdest thing, but it's so fun. It's a great game. So he was running an event where people could come by and play some games and then walk away with a prize.
yeah.
Um, which I forgot to grab one, so I'm coming back. I'm coming to the next HeroScape event, hoping to walk out with two primer boxes
Mm,
um or promotional boxes,
yeah,
because it's kind of like not really a trading card game style, but like I don't know, they release promo units. I guess if Middle Earth had an event where you go to like Warhammer World, and if you play in the tournament Throne of Skulls, there's a promotional, you know, not necessarily alternate model, but like, oh, this is the only way that you can get Aldor. Is if you go to this event and you get an Aldor kit as a promo prize.
right.
Um, but uh, it was a lot of fun just like to sit down and play some HeroScape. I mean, I'm not playing a Middle Earth strategy battle game, which I would have loved to have been playing, but it was nice to be able to go and visit a table that was next to us and play the HeroScape game for a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, here's the game where it's like, yeah, my list, my team consists of BoJack Horseman, Captain America, two Raptors, a giant spider, and four goblins. Is
Yeah,
that
pretty
right?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my team. What am I facing? I'm facing Doctor Doom, Iron Man, and a soldier from World War II with a jetpack and a grease gun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That is accurate.
Yeah, no.
Um,
I remember us talking once about it a while back, and it just sounds so entertaining.
yeah, and it's back. They had like a new edition drop shortly before or like a couple months before the new Middle Earth edition.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because like Heroescape was dead. It was a dead game. But
yeah.
a new company like bought the rights and rebuilt it, and that was really cool.
It's
Um,
like buying the land, knowing there's a gold mine there. Just like,
oh yeah, no.
we could
When
do
they
enough
were
of
on
this.
clearance back in like 2000 and like 9 or 12, they they were going out of business. Everything went on clearance at Toys R Us, Walmart, everywhere.
Yeah.
And people were picking up kits that now sell for $70 at least are were bought for like $5 or even $3.99. Like it's insane. I wish I had known, right? Like where was I
Yeah.
in 2016 before the housing market exploded, or where was and it got too expensive. Where was I when HeroEscape was going to make me rich? Um, but
Fair, man.
it was a lot of fun. How was day two for you? So you had three more games to play, right?
Yes, three more games. Yeah, yeah. So three more games to go. Day two. Obviously, as I said, three wins, three losses. So I won two games in day two. But for the play by play, so getting in the morning, made a drink down my neck. Look, grabbed can of Iron Brew, which is a soft drink beverage over here.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
go and meet my opponent, who is playing Birders Horde. Turns out he's an old Scouser. Sounds just like me. The C's are a bit thicker. But yeah, no. I was like, oh, one of my breed, one of my breed of English.
My
um,
kin.
yeah, so I was just like, oh, this should be a good laugh. He was an older gentleman, but he was a gentleman through and through. His minis were gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. Like, Birder had this lovely, like yellow cloth that he did, and the yellow was so nice. His base was really nice. His warg chieftains look mean, and like some had like like a matted fur look. And then yeah, his wargs look pristine. His orcs looked really really cool and grey and brown. Um, at one point, it was like, right, okay, I know which orcs are yours because mine are colourful. Like my orcs are colourful compared to your orcs. But yeah, no, they were very pretty. Game was hold ground, so I was like, I've got a feeling Birders are going to come out and like just come out behind one of my war bands if all my war bands don't deploy together, or he's going to come out on the train on the center objective because the center objective for hold ground, the center of the board was basically in like this mine shaft. It was like the I think the map was inspired by like the troll horde, from the Hobbit.
Yeah.
So it was just like a big wooded area, and then in the center of it was basically this cave, and inside that cave was a bunch of stuff, like that was actually like glued to the board itself. A very very scenic board. Um, so yeah, it comes to rolling. One of his warbands doesn't want to come on. Both his warg chiefs come on next to each other with a bit of might spent, and obviously Birder is hiding away. Um, I managed to bring on my Morannon captain in that warband behind both of his warg warbands. Um, my One of my captain warbands came on to the south, like right where I was standing. So I brought
Mhm.
them like straight on to the left of the board so they could go help out the Morannon captain. Then I roll a two, I think it is, for both of the other warbands. So that's my Witch King and my other Orc Captain. So they come on onto the very far right of the board, far away from where everything else is at the moment. Uh, Start the game, obviously. I'm not calling any marches because I'm like, I'll get there eventually. I'm not going to worry about getting over there too quickly. Moving along, Moran Captain manages to like carve his way through a bunch of wargs. Like I'm rolling a bit hot for my first game. I'm like, hell yeah. Morannon Captain and his band of Morannons are doing the work, killing some wargs, stopping a chieftain from doing anything cool. Yeah, just cutting through them for 2 turns essentially, and then both the warg chieftains basically like turn around and go, right, we need to get rid of you. So it comes to like turn 3, the warg chieftains turned around, they've got priority, charging my Morannon, and that my old captain just about gets there, and he's trying to get into the mesh of things, barely. And then Berda comes on and he's like, right, I'm going to come on the center objective. I was like, cool. Starts placing his minis down, puts both of his hill trolls facing one of my my Orc Captain's warband, not my Witch King's warband, because he was like, I don't fancy that troll. So I'm just going to go put my hill trolls here and we're going to throw some rocks at the Orc warband that's coming in. I was like, say less. Game goes on, lost basically the Morannon warband has been entirely wiped out by now. We're on turn 4 and like the Warg chieftains have done their work. And you know, a couple of Wargs did a bit of extra. Start enveloping this position. And I managed to get my troll on a 1v1 versus one troll, and then the Witch King into the other troll, and I transfixed it on the way in. Surrounded it with a bunch of extra orcs and that. And then my Mortal Orc Captain, he came in, tried to surround them a bit and hold off a couple of Warg Riders too. Killed both the hill trolls in one turn of combat. Like my troll one-shot a troll, and then the Witch King and all of his goons one-shot the other troll. I was like, right, I've got a lot less worries on my head now. However, we've got an hour of game time left, and you are sat on the center, and I'm nowhere near it. So the rest of the next hour is essentially me just trying to go around because there's only one way into the cave. So I'm just like hugging this wall as his Warg chieftains come running back. His Wargs come running back. His orcs are playing stall time versus the Witch King and my troll. Using the terrain to his advantage as well. Like, so my troll had to go all the way around and such. I thought the game would go on for a bit longer, but as I was just killing and the time was going on, I didn't do a big push towards the center. Like if I hugged the wall, I would have been with 6 inches of the center. But no, I started pushing towards the orcs because I was thinking one more turn, kill a few more orcs off, then everybody just runs into the center. It'll be great. But we got the time and the game ended. So it ended 5-1. Berda basically just won the game for him by spawning in on the center and sitting there for the entire game, whilst everybody else slowed down my dudes enough.
Just sat there and
to actually sit there, yeah. So yeah, no, it ended with a 5-1 loss. And I was like, oh, like that's my third loss. I really want to start today with a win to get into a good mood and to like really start like doing a few things. So yeah, I was feeling a bit down. I was feeling a bit down. I went over to my mate who had just beat up some Return of the King with his muster of Isengard. His Saruman had been doing bits, and he was just kind of like, "Yeah, no, I'm definitely feeling the worst effects of winning my games." It's like, why is that? He's like, "Because the players are so much better, and they're playing it in a much more competitive, like a noticeably more competitive way, which I'm not enjoying." I was like, "Oh, fair, man. Just throw your next game, and you'll start coming back down." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'll be going towards the bottom now. It sucks, but regardless, I'm sure I'll throw a smile on and have a good game." Get to game 2 after lunch of day 2, so game 5, and I was put up against this lass who was playing Muster of Isengard, and like got there, she was like, "Oh my god, that shirt, love it." I was wearing a band t-shirt. I was wearing a Sleep Token t-shirt. She was like, "I love that," but my friend like really, really loves Sleep Token, so like I'm talking to her about it with him. It's like, right, okay, sweet. I was like, MESBG, like, did you play it much? It's like, this is actually one of my boyfriend's armies. A friend was supposed to call, but they bailed. So I was just like, you know what? I'll give it a go. I was like, right, okay, so you're a very new player. She's like, yep. Every game I've basically been having my opponents teach me how to play. I was like, that is not a problem. I'll teach how to play. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a gaggle. Game was Recon. We had, obviously, Saruman, Grima, bunch of Uruks and Uruk Scouts. But as much as I tried this to be a nice, fun learning game, my dice were evil this game. I think I lost like 4 duels max.
No.
Yeah, no. And every time I won a duel, I was killing stuff. However, I nearly forgot to mention this. The opening move of the game, I had 2 Orc bows move half and shoot at a berserker that I could see. Hitting on 6s, they both got 6s. I'm wounding on 6s, they both got 6s. Berserkers have a feel no pain. You'd never guess what she rolled.
2 more 6s?
Double sixes. He just shrugged them off. 6 sixes in a row. We're like, whoa.
Oh
Like,
my
how does that
gosh.
happen? That's insane. Yeah, no, we had a good giggle about that. Oh, it was very funny. It was very funny. Grima tried being annoying, but I just went, Witch King's going to black dart him. And she was like, oh, okay. Can I resist? I was like, I don't think he has will. We talked over the book. No will. I'm like, no, can't resist. Right, okay. Black dart goes off. Do I wound him? Yeah, Grima's gone. She was like, rats. I was like, oh, have you been learning how to use him? She went, no, I just like his model. I was like, yeah, no bother. But yeah, basically we just started talking about bands and that, and it was a lot of me doing, letting her do the movement, uh, giving her ideas of who she can charge, who she can't charge, who could she shoot into if she cared of like not shooting her own dudes. I was like, you could charge these guys in, but then shoot at me if you still wanted to because you're evil. Like, no, I don't want to hurt my own guys. I was like, there's a chance you don't. There's a chance you don't. She
Right.
never took me up on those offers of shooting into the combats. My troll was being a menace. I think she put like 3 berserkers onto one troll, and he just went, "Oh, look, yummy," and just killed all 3 berserkers. I was like, "Ooh, those my dice were vile there." And
Oh,
then
yummy.
killing the pikes behind the berserkers as well because of the new monster rules. So yeah,
Oh, right,
no.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, I told her the objective was obviously to run off the opponent's side of the board. So it got to a point she was like, actually, Saruman's just going to run for it and try and get onto the other side of the board. So I was like, right, okay, no worries. So that's how she got a 1 victory point. So unfortunately, I did break her. I think I got something like 20 of my models off the board, including 3 heroes. And she got 2 models off the board. One being like one berserker that managed to get past 2 of my orcs and Saruman. Saruman ran off the board, and heroes count as VPs in recon now. Yeah, ended 18-1, big win, but it was one of those where it's kind of like this felt much more like a teaching game. And to be fair, we were just having a laugh and talking about bands, talking about seeing
Yeah,
Slipknot,
yeah.
talking about how she went to, I think it was Bloodstock that she mentioned. Showed me a few videos that she took whilst there as well. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, no, this has been good. This has been a great mood lifter. Like I couldn't really care less about the win, despite the dice being devastating and such. This has just been nice to just chill out with somebody while throwing some dice. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what led to 3 losses, 2 wins. I was like, right, okay, I'm going back up. I'm going back up. This should be interesting. Last game will be to the death because it's a weekend of tournaments. Of course, you want the last game to be just kill each other.
Mhm.
Um, Grabbing a drink in that, talking to my mates, seeing how they did. My mate, who was just like, people are getting a bit more competitive. He said that last game was a sweat fest and he lost. And I was like,
Oh,
fair.
no.
Fair, absolute sweat fest, but he lost. He was like, yeah, no, but he still tried. He still had a bit of fun. It was like sweet. And then my other mate James, who I came down with, he was like, yeah, no, I'm really enjoying my games and such. And then we get to the third game, and I look and I see James as my opponent again, but I see Li, so I'm like, oh, okay, Lyndon, right, okay, so it's not my mate James. Turns out my mate James had not put his correct army in Longshanks. He's been playing Battle of Fornost all day. His list is Battle of Fornost. However, his faction on Longshanks was Lyndon.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I get to play my good friend James. That I came all the way from Carlisle to Greater Manchester. I say all the way. It's 2 hours, but to you men, that's like going to the corner store, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
2 hours, 2 hours. Oh yeah, it takes you just to the local pub. That. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, no, we got to play against each other. I was like, that's great. I get to finish the event playing against someone I know, someone I can banter with, someone that's just
Mhm.
chill. Battle of Fornos versus Venus Mogul. We've had a few practice games. We've had this match off before. Should be a good laugh into the death. And then we get the board that James had been eyeing up the entire event. It was basically this, it's like Haradrim board,
Mhm.
like a Southron board. So along the entire left hand side was like a big wall that basically cut off the entire left hand side. We ended up using it as our dead pile. And so a big gated wall looked really cool. And then on the field, like 4 dead mummics.
Oh
And they
gosh.
used a mix of 3D printing and actual models, actual mummic models.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the board, and it was all gravelly and such. So he'd been eyeing this board up all day, like, oh my god, this looks so pretty. I really want to play on this board. And then the guy who's running the streamed games of the event, because Scouring streams at least one game,
Mm-hmm.
came up to us and went, "Oh, what list? I see. Is this Good versus Evil?" I'm like, yeah. What's the list? So I was like, Mina Smuggle, and he's bringing Battle of Fornost. And he was like, "You guys want to go in the stream room?" And I just saw my mate James, his face dropped. he
Oh
was like,
no.
he was like, I could be on stream, but I've wanted to play on this map all day. I could be on stream, but I want to play on this map all day. and
Oh no.
I was like, James, it's up to you. I don't care. I don't care being on stream or not. I'm like, what's the map like? He's like, it's basically an Amon Hen like scenic board. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, bit of hills and that. Amon Hen up in the corner, no worries. And James was like, nah, I really want to play on this board all day, so I'm going to refuse. Sorry. He's like, no worries, no worries. We'll go find someone else who wants to stream. And then as soon as the guy walked away, he went, oh, I could have been on stream. I could have been on stream. I was like, mate, it's a good thing we didn't go on stream because we say some diabolical things in our banter. And having that streamed to maybe like the tens or a couple hundreds of people who are watching it might not be a good light for Element or the Scouring events team. you know, we got on there and we just start talking about Hobbit slavery and stuff like that. It's not going to end well. He was
Yeah.
like, "You're right, you're right, you're right, you're right." The banter's too good for stream. The banter's too good for stream. So went to play our game then, and I was like, "So how are you going to deal with me?" Because last time we played this, you sent Glorfindel into the troll, going, "I'm going to win," and then the troll proceeded to prounce Glorfindel everywhere like Hulk and Loki. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Same again, but more reserved." All right, no bother. So yeah, I basically formed up a line between two dead mummics. We agreed the mummics to be difficult terrain. He tried saying, "Oh, it's woodland terrain, right? Like it's a corpse." He was like, "You can find corpses in the woods." I'm like, right, okay, we're being like that then. It's like, oh, it's not in the way. Why? Because I can do an arcing shot, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, no. So I set up a bit of a line, and then his knights were flanking me with Aener, last king of Gondor. Um, and I was like, right, okay, I'll set up a line to protect myself from that flank. I've got a line in between two mummics that as elves are coming towards, and then on the far right, I've got a couple of orcs and my troll, and that's where he sent Glorfindel to deal with that. And then, typical of my good friend James, throws all of his knights in on the next turn on the charge after I've moved. So, I can't react to the charge. I can't get some extra traps. And then he proceeds to whiff every duel roll.
Oh,
Not in banner. Knights have charged in. Like, yeah, we'll fight 5 knights, 2 attacks each. And yeah, we're D6 and courage 7 plus. It matters because of the Blades of the Dead Spears.
mhm.
Charges in, whiffs every duel. I kill all 5 of his knights except for Aener. Not charge. He charges in, they're all gone. And he was like, God damn it! But it was a good laugh. We had a good laugh. A good tongue in cheek. A&O went on to actually kill stuff, which was nice to see. But then he with one combat instead of trying to win A&O, I was like, I'm going to kill this horse. Kill this horse. Next turn, I get prio. Glorfindel went and killed the troll. He's actually victorious this time. I was like, oh, well done, Glorfindel. Well done, him. Pat on the back. The monster slayer has actually killed a monster. He's like, don't go running your Witch King away. I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Pull my Witch King over to where Aener is surrounded by my army of orcs, an entire warband's worth of orcs. Transfix him. Charge everybody onto him, including the Witch King. Strike up. One shot Aener. Like, right, okay, he's gone. Sweet. Leader VPs in the bag. And all I've got to do now is stop Glorfindel killing everything. Because Glorfindel was rolling hot. And it's probably the best my mate James has ever had with Glorfindel. It was just constant sixes, sixes, sixes. Or if he didn't roll a 6, Lord of the West would get him a 6. It was one of those. The warband that I had like in between the 2 dead corpses managed to hold that line very well throughout the entire game. It was just constant back and forth, back and forth. maybe he'd win a duel but do no wounds. Maybe I'd win a duel and do no wounds. My Morannon captain carved through a couple of elves and Gondor warriors, but then proceeded to die to his banner bearer. I think it was. The banner bearer was like, "Oh no! Oh yeah, no worries, I got you. Die." Glorfindel was making his way over. Finally broke him. Glorfindel was getting bogged down by like one orc a turn because I was getting lucky on my courage test, or the Witch King was near enough by for the guy to just go, "Oh, Witch King's there. I'm more scared of him than I am of you. Charge." um, so yeah, no, the game ended 14-6. He still got a good bunch of VPs, and took obviously a bit of VP difference away from me, but I ultimately got the win. So 3 wins, 3 losses, and with that VP difference, I managed to land bang middle, bang average, straight down the middle, 42nd of the 84 who stayed, because there was a few drops after day one. Actually, I think there was a drop after game 4. It's like, why did he even show up to game 2, to day 2 then if you're going to drop?
Yeah,
Um,
really.
is this one? I was like, well, what are you doing? But hey ho, yeah. And when we were doing the awards, the best painted and such, there was some beautiful armies set up for best painted. I voted for a Thorin's company that had Radagast in. So it was basically,
Mm.
I think it was 9 of the 13 dwarfs in Radagast off the top of my head. Looked very, very, very pretty. I think my mate Alex, he voted for Men of the West. I can't remember who James said he voted for, but still, we voted for a few things, and I actually can't remember who's won. That's a great disservice whoever won because it was a very pretty army. It was a very pretty army. Oh, it's going to annoy me. Moving on.
I can just imagine what they look like.
Yeah, they were very pretty. I couldn't tell you what they were, but they were very pretty. But yeah, we get to the end of the event. First, second, and third. Most sporting, wooden spoon. We did the raffle. I didn't win anything in the raffle this year. Last year, I won. I didn't win. My uncle, who lives in the area, he bought a raffle strip and just told me, if I win anything, you can have it. I was like, okay, no worries. I proceeded to win the Army of Isengard battle host, like the Isengard battle host last year. I went, oh, you won as the Isengard battle host? He went, actually, I'll have that. I was like, all right then. Just quickly taking back what you just said of oh, I can have these raffle tickets, no bother. But okay, yeah. So I got him his Isengard battle host, and he I think he's built them up. I don't think he's painted them though. That was a year ago. But yeah, and then it was like most middling of the middle, the most bang average, the most middle player there was at this event. Said my name. I was like, whoa! I was not expecting that. And then he gives me a wee little letter opener as an award. And I was like, hell yeah! Big picture for the Facebook page and all that. And I was like, right, sound. The most middle player ever. And I looked over to my mate James and went, thanks for scoring some VPs, mate. He was just sat there like, oh, without me, you never would have got that. So you should give it to me, really. But yeah, that was day 2. 3 wins, 3 losses. Bought my ticket for next year there and then with the early bird saver. Because if you go, you get early access to next year's tickets. And they do a 10% discount, I think it is. Something like that. It's
Cool.
£5 off. £5 off of a £40 ticket. Really, really good. £40, see $55, something like that. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Day
I
2 was
saw
really
the
good.
tickets. Yeah.
Really, really successful. I really, really enjoyed it, and I enjoy it every year. It's such an all-comers event. Like, people will go there and have their first games. I literally met someone at my first year. I went there having lots of games on TTS and a few games IRL. And I got there, my second game, the guy was like, yeah, this is my second game ever. Like, I picked up the game 3 months ago, bought a ticket, painted my army, and now I'm here having my first ever games. I was like, that's insane, but I respect it.
No, yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, no, that's what the event kind of conjures in. Yeah, no, that was Scouring of Cheshire 2025. Onwards to Scouring of Cheshire 2026, where I'm going to get 3 wins and 3 losses once again. I'm telling you now. And maybe
I would
Armies of Middle
love
Earth
to
will be out by then.
participate. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to participate in Cheshire one of these years. I've got my passport now, so it's a real
Woo!
possibility. I just have to get the finances in line and also, not have spent all my vacation hours. Um, but yeah, it'd be
Oh,
fun. That's
yeah, it
cool.
would be fun. It would be fun. I think we had someone from Australia this year, but I've got a feeling he has a home here and a home over there. But yeah,
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 probably.
no. I think my first year I went, there was a couple of Belgians who came, or a couple of Dutch. I mean,
Oh,
I say
nice.
Belgians, Dutch Belgians. I mean people from the Netherlands, from Holland. When I mean Dutch, I don't mean Belgian Dutch. So there's a couple of people from Belgium, whether they were
Mhm.
Dutch, Belgium, Flemish, French, regardless, and a couple of people from the Netherlands from my first year. But yeah, this year I'm pretty sure someone was there from Australia, and he did
That's
pretty well
cool.
as well. Aye. Gotta get a few Yanks, just a couple of cool ones. No, none of the try hard Yanks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we don't want good players. We
We
want
don't want the good
fun
players
players.
here. They'd be like, oh, look at this board full of open terrain. My Dale Force is going to sit and shoot for 6 turns. Haha.
Yeah. Thing is I'd either be bringing usurpers or Dale with me, because those are the only two armies I have.
Bruh. Bruh, what are we going to do with you?
I know. Maybe I'll have Numenor built by then, because
Yeah.
I've actually been working on a mounted Isildur conversion.
Oh, cool.
Um, because I do own Isildur mounted on,
Yes.
from Games Workshop. But the thing is that the mounted version doesn't have Isildur left-handed like he is in, the other scene, and I think the actor is also left-handed. Um, and so I have a model alternative that I'm going to be working on.
Oh,
Um,
sweet.
and it's based on the WizKids like D&D miniatures line or whatever it is, like
Mm.
Nolzur's miniatures or maybe it was like Pathfinder or something. I don't know. It's one of those like $5 off of the shelf miniature D&D minis, but it's the headless horseman, and
Headless
the head
Horseman. Right, okay.
the headless horseman, he's rearing back on his horse, and his left hand is the thing that's doing stuff. Um,
Right.
like holding a skull in the model, but I just cut it off with some clippers.
Mm.
And since he already doesn't have a head, I can just glue a Theodore's head onto his shoulders. And it's gonna look pretty close. Like it's the right
Awesome.
scale
Sweet.
and everything. So it's like I'll just have a unique Isildur to be able to play with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair. Fair, man. That's gonna be dope. That is gonna be dope. You're gonna look really cool. A fine conversion to lead the hordes of Numenor who all look the same.
Right. Yeah, I know. The same like three poses or two poses.
2001. 2001.
2001. Let's
2001.
go. That's right. I'm a Gen 1er, baby.
Oh yeah. I've been playing this game
Yeah.
longer than you've been born. Wait, what?
Whoa.
Not me
Um,
personally, but you know.
yeah. I mean, thing is like I have the option, right? I could pay
Yeah.
someone for 3D prints of like DeVale or um there's another one that I actually really liked the Numenorians for that because they looked like kind of screen accurate.
Hmm.
And a little bit more so than DeVale, and but also it wasn't Dandelion. Because I think Dandelions. Oh no, Dandy hasn't done one. They're coming out
Ooh,
soon though. Which I'm
coming
gonna keep my eyes
soon.
on, right? Because like it ain't cheap to buy three bowmen or three spearmen for Numenor.
Hey,
Um,
longbowmen now, mate. They're longbowmen.
oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, they're longbows. Maybe next year, or next edition they'll be great bows, huh?
Mm,
Um,
mm. Great Bow is next edition 6 years from now.
yeah, right. Well, actually, not even because that would be on schedule. So if based on the
Yep.
rate that they're doing things now, it'd be in 30 years,
30 years.
30 years new edition when they do
Woo!
the uh, this year was
Peter,
the Return of the King anniversary, or was that last year?
I think it was this year. No, no, that was last year, wasn't it? It was last year before this edition came out. It was the Return of the King anniversary, weren't it?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
that's
there
right.
was a lot of comments about a plastic LSR being rumored as well. You know, that got a
Yeah,
little bit of hype, but quickly died when it was like, they're not going to do a plastic LSR.
yeah. We might
Don't be
see
silly.
one eventually, but it's such a niche scene moment
Mm.
that I feel like that would put it low on the ranking. They would do a mounted Aragorn plastic kit before they would
Oh, for
do,
sure. Yeah.
because like with Brago and everything, like there's a lot of potential for them to sell a kit of Aragorn on horse and
Mm.
foot and mounted, right? And if you
Yeah, yeah.
cull it, you know, uh, or even base it on, like you could do multi parts, you could do different kinds of Aragorns,
Yeah.
but they'd probably base it on the scene where he's riding to Helm's Deep. So it's probably like no cloak, chainmail or whatever it is that he's
Mm.
wearing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, to be fair, with actually like Brego being named in that now, it's one of them where I'm kind of like looking at Phaedra's model going, he just has a regular plastic horse, like it just
Yeah,
like the same ones riders of Rohan have, and it's kind of like, ha, Brego is a royal horse, it's like it's the prince, the heir of the realm's horse. If he doesn't want it armored with barding and that, sure, that's fine. But you could make it look a bit cooler other than, like every Tom, Bob, and Harry's um, horses. But hey ho, hey ho. Maybe one day. Yeah, that's
hey,
just me. That's just me simping over Theodred yet again.
maybe they'll release a set that isn't Aragorn foot mounted. Maybe it's Brago
Mm.
the set with the option
Yeah,
of Theodred or
Brego the
Aragorn.
set. That's brilliant. Sold.
I'd buy
What
that.
was it? Day two, did you get a ringer game in as TO?
Yeah, in day two, I played two winger games. We had one player who could only make it for day two, but still wanted to participate, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Fair, fair.
Um, and so I played against that late opponent round one, so I was able to add myself and Longshanks and the player as additional folks, so that we could, still record scores and all that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty fun. Both started off with -3 tournament points because I figured, all right, for every round you miss, you lose a tournament point.
Okay.
Um, that was just like an on the spot rule. It ended up kind of working though, because it
That's
meant
cool.
that
That's
like
cool.
this player who's really really good started at a -3 tournament point record and had 2 games to play, but managed to win both and end up with 3 tournament points to be ahead of the wooden spoon.
Hell
Um,
yeah. On the fly thinking with Commi the TO.
Yeah, I don't know if the system completely works. Maybe I need to increase the penalty to like, you just straight up -3 or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but it was fun. The first round, so I played usurpers
Usurpers
against
was your ringer list. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, usurpers was my ring list. But specifically, so okay, in the two different rounds, I changed up the list, right? Um, in the first game of the day against the late opponent, I played usurpers with like just Freka, Chieftains, and then Crabine with like all the hillmen. Um, and it was Recon was our scenario.
Mm.
And this my opponent was playing Minas Morgul with the Witch King on Fellbeast, and then a bunch of orcs with like a couple of specters.
Oh hell yeah.
And 15 Mirandans made up the orcs,
Oh.
and it was tough. So one, the first thing that made it tough is I forgot what I was doing, and I just like sent all 4 of my Krebane into the other side of the board without backup, watched them both, like all of them get minced um, by, the fact that the Witch King could call heroic move and get a bunch of orcs on top of the Krebane.
Alright.
Yeah, so then I said bye to the Krebane, which was a great tactical move to drop myself uh, by 80 points for free. Um, and then proceeded to just not have enough movement speed or punching power to then get through the Minismorgul line to then score. Meanwhile, the Witch King just flies off my board edge and claims, the 3 bodies plus it's a hero, so it was just this massive score.
Yeah.
Um, and then so that was game one. And then
Yeah, yeah.
game two, we did a bit of a change up in my list because I was playing against the player who had been like losing most of the games that
Mm.
weekend. So I changed it up and I did usurpers, but it's all 4 or no, sorry, all three of the named heroes. So I had
Yeah.
Freka. Oh no, all four. Yeah, there's four of them. So I had Freka, Wolf, Targ, and Thorn. All of them on horses, like with all the options I could give them. Thorn was
Damn.
leading 11 throwing spear guys and then a banner guy. And so I had like barely any points to then also pick up Krebane and the Hillmen. And ended
Right.
up needing to get four Krebane in there to drop my numbers even further because I just didn't have enough warband slots. Like they designed Targ and like Targ is a hero of fortitude for like whatever reason. I can't even figure it out. Like he's literally the general.
Yeah, the general
And
of the Wildmen. Oh yeah, you probably lead 12 of us, mate. You know,
yeah, just
in a
12 guys.
skirmish party, just 12 of us. Just 12 of us. Yeah.
Like if they were gonna do anything, they should have just made Freka and Wolf legends, and then had
Yep.
Freka's rule that he has to be leader still exist. So
Mm.
then, they're the two people who are literally in charge of like the Hillmen at that time. So like, I
Yeah, they're
just
literally the lords of the Hillmen. Yeah.
yeah, or at the very least keep them Valor, sure, because then they can
Mm.
heroic challenge Valors, which is kind of their shtick in that list.
Yeah.
Um, and then let Targ at least be Valor as well. So if I don't run Freka, I can make Targ my leader, and that would be worth
Mm.
it, right?
Yeah.
Um, like, but anyways, I was playing the four of them, and I was playing against Return of the King, featuring the King of the Dead, Aragorn, and Legolas, with this a bunch of ghosts and some heralds, and
Right. Damn.
so it was like not a lot of models versus
Yep.
less Hillman than you would like, be expecting at 750 points. And we played domination. Which I thought, oh boy, I've got this I've got this on lock. I'm gonna win this one easy. Um, I set up like a whole thing of Krebane in front of Aragorn, so he just like, could only fight birds, and the birds just die really slow to Aragorn.
Yeah.
Um, but then I forgot that the King of the Dead can just like zap souls,
Yes. Yeah. Just one shot. Yeah.
and he walked up to the Krebane next to the one Aragorn was fighting, touched it, it disappeared, and I went, "Oh no!" And then and then proceeded to watch my battle line like start to dissolve. Wolf charges in to go against Aragorn. R- Then like I strike up. I'm ahead of Aragorn on fight value, and then but I have to like spend two of my might to win the fight, and then do like zero damage. And then the next turn, I had I just was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna heroic challenge you because I just don't want to get into a strike off when I haven't charged. I'd rather have more
Yeah.
dice to beat your dice, which was like that's my reasoning. And then proceeded to watch Wolf then get dismembered by a four attack Aragorn. Um,
Oof.
so yeah, a bad call there. Uh, and then I watched Thorn and Freka and Targ because the Targ like ran in the turn where like Wolf was in his final confrontation with Aragorn. The
Mm.
King of the Dead had charged one of my birds, so I sent Targ in, and he ended up because I challenged Aragorn. He called a heroic combat with Aragorn instead of calling a strike, which
Yeah.
then meant that Targ was able to then call a free heroic combat because I master battled against the King of the Dead. Which I was like, oh, the King of the Dead has like two attacks. Like, I'll just clean them up, right?
Yeah.
Uh, King of the Dead rolls a six, then wounds Targ. Targ fails both of his fate, and his soul gets sucked out of him. Uh,
Bruh.
I was
Oh, it's
like,
not going well. It's
I
not
was like,
going
oh
well.
no. Thorn's alive in the backfield. Thorn is like he's leading some traders around the back to like chuck some throwing spears and do something while my
Yeah.
birds are harassing Legolas, who's at the top of like a ruin. And the birds are in combat with Legolas. And I kid you not, every turn I had at least one flock of birds on Legolas. Legolas
Mm.
would then proceed to, in the shooting phase, roll 1 to 3 sixes on his to hit rolls to shoot the Cribbane, and then would end up doing enough wounds that when Legolas then won the fight, he then killed the Cribbane. And it was just like he was just rolling the sixes to hit the Cribbane as they were dissolving in front of him. And I was like, what did he do? Load bird shot into his bow? Like,
Shoots an arrow, you
oh
just
my
hear a little bang, and just pellets fly out.
I was like, "Holy cow." Um, so that like Legolas proceeded to then just kill like all three flocks of Cribbing. I flew at him and then hold the objective he was on that I then couldn't contest because he killed the birds. He killed
Mm.
12 wounds of birds in like a few turns. Um,
That's
it was
vile.
crazy. And then but I'm still dominating the objectives. I had like two
Yeah,
hillmen
yeah.
up on the rooftop holding one. I was outnumbering the ghosts on the side. I had my backfield objective. But then what ends up happening is that once Legolas was done killing birds, he then shot both hillmen I had on like the nearby building that were holding the other objective. Just boom, boom, kills them both. Then proceeds to then roll pretty well on the combats to have all the ghosts kill like just like a couple more to break me.
Yeah.
I then fail so many courage checks because I only had Thorn and he was just leading his little group of guys on the other end. And so I watched just Hillman evaporate off of the center objective and the side objective and my backfield one. Just poof away like they got Thanos snapped from existence. And then resulted in a 13-0 loss. I was like,
Jesus.
"Oh no."
The horde diminished amongst the ghosts. Damn.
Yeah. It was cinematic,
Damn.
you know? Like, all the heroes got to be heroic, while the villains
Yeah.
got to be just
Food.
road bumps.
Oh, Legolas in his scatter shot, man. That's got seeing that happen. I'm just like, oh god,
Like, "Oh, what's even happened?
what's even
Oh no."
happening?
Oh gosh. It was a ton of fun, and, it was cool to get to know this player more who had, like, recently, like, moved to the local area. And so
Mm,
being able to just like catch up and like, this was our second time playing together and it was
mm.
just a lot of fun to enjoy. And everyone enjoyed the prizes and getting their painted rock and all that stuff. And it was overall just a good day.
Excellent, excellent, man. No, I'm glad second day you got a couple more games in other than Heroescape. Um,
Yes.
yeah, no, and you got to unleash the horde. It might not have been victories, but the horde was there.
Yeah, it was fun. It
Yeah,
was
man.
fun to roll. I was like the whole day one, I was like, man, I wish I was playing this game. This game's really cool. And then day two, I just got absolutely blasted by my opponents and had a lot of fun doing it. It was great.
Fair, man. Fair. Oh, sounds good. Sounds good. I think this has been a lovely catch up of what we've been doing, Chief.
Yeah, this has been great. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening to another little ramble session.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what
Talking on.
event is coming up next for you?
I've got nothing planned. Maybe I might do Throne of Skulls, which is the 1,000-point at Warhammer World, but
Hmm.
it is expensive. It's expensive
Yeah,
ticket. It's expensive to get there. Sure, they give you the expedition entry included in the ticket as well as dinner. The dinners are nice. I will say the dinners are nice. But yeah, like the time between games, you're doing a run through the exhibition. You're not actually being able to take in every diorama and read the plaques and read the bit of the history of the company.
right.
But yeah, no, it's one thing that I'll consider. But the tickets they do sell out very quickly. Maybe less so this edition, depending if Armies of Middle Earth is out yet or not by then. Because I think the tickets usually go
Yeah,
for sale in like July, and the event is in November. So I don't have one till a long way away. If one pops up nearby, like if one just across the border into the very early short parts of Scotland, or across the way over to the east in Newcastle, because there was one there not too long ago. I might go to one of them if I'm feeling like it. If I'm feeling like it's worth the trip, because it'll be a train ride. Because the missus needs the car. It's not worth me taking the car just to play miniatures games. She needs it for work. So yeah,
Right.
I've got nothing booked in. I'll keep an eye out, and obviously I'll still be playing in the TTS events that we host here.
Oh, of course.
What about yourself? Any new events for you soon?
Yeah, I mean, our local store stuff, we're gonna be start doing monthly tournaments,
Sick.
with like for store credit, which will be nice. It'll be nice and fun
Nice.
to do that. Um,
Very cool, man.
it's kind of cool to have like a store scene. So that's what I
Mm.
expect to be doing. Anything that's like a public event, in the near future, I don't know. Oh yeah, we're trying to plan a state off, if you will,
A
where the
state off.
players,
Damn.
yeah, it would be a team tournament, where all of the states are competing, like in New England, right? The New England states are competing to see who's the best of New England. Um, and so we're trying to find a place that is like in the middle where everyone, like the furthest, like that's central to where everyone lives.
Yeah.
Um, and that should be coming up in July, which will be pretty fun. So
Sick.
I'm looking
Sick.
forward to that because I gotta build a crew of Mainers to go down there, which we have got a good crop of players.
Oh yeah. The woodsmen of Maine coming down to take you all out.
Oh yeah,
That'll
this
be dope,
edition
that
I
man.
might even play Bjornings if they're more
Oh.
manageable. I might play Bjornings, right? Like if they get nerfed, I'll play them.
If they get there, sorry guys, Bjornings are now fight 4. That's the only thing that changes. Same points cost, still 2 attacks, still 2 handing and burly at strength 4, but the fight 4 now. All right, the fight 4. Well, they're going.
Yeah.
Oh, but if they're within 6 inches of a bear, they fight 5. Hey,
Hey, let's go. And wins
let's
ties.
go. And then the Bears have the rule where they are treated as a banner, but also treated as a banner for banner VPs, which I think
Mhm.
only Thorin has at the moment. There might be one or another in there that has, but yeah, it's just one of them. Where it's kind of like, bruh.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
yeah.
not on Raven Hill. Thorin has it at the moment. But yeah,
They
no,
make
no,
you have
we'll
to
see. We'll
kill
see.
both bears.
Yeah, kill both bears to get rid of the banner VPs. God damn it!
It'll be
Why?
fun. Oh gosh.
Why, Jay? Why the bears?
What? Yeah.
But
But
yeah, thank you everybody for
it'll be
listening. And this should hopefully be a bit more of a regular occurrence, especially just these update chats.
oh yeah. It's pretty easy just to pop in. I love doing these little catch up chats and sometimes
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
honestly we should just like sometimes just be recording when we're chatting not while
Yeah. Anyway, just
doing it.
snippets of us saying some of the most deranged things ever.
Oh yeah.
Not like we do
Let's
that
get
anyway.
Tom Bombadil back.
Yeah, I want Tom Bombadil back, and I think Black Dragon should be strength 5.
Oh yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
good. All right,
Yeah.
thanks everyone. Enjoy your rest of your day or night or what have you.
Take care, guys.